Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and well, we've got an interesting preview today of some reels that have come into my shop for service and repair. Let's call this one the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we'll start out with the good. So the first box that I got in today was from an avid channel supporter, Bill, up in Massachusetts. I just can't thank him enough for the reels and the support that he's given to the channel. And well, Bill used to be an outdoor writer pre-retirement, and he would write articles on the fishing and lures and the like. I've come to appreciate his knowledge and expertise, and he recently has developed an affinity for Shakespeare reels, so we're going to call this one the good side. Before we get into his Shakespeare reels, Bill sent me two reels for the benefit of the channel. A Mitchell Garcia 300 in the original packaging. Just a beautiful reel, and never used. This one's interesting. It comes with the one that says Garcia product on it. That's a removable sticker, but thank you, Bill. And the other one is the 330 automatic. This one is the one, this one I was playing around with earlier. That's why it doesn't look the way it should in the box, but it's the 330, and it has that automatic trip feature. And I guess what's happened over time with this one is the greases and that have dried out of it. So this is beyond good. These are beautiful, and thank you again, Bill, for sending those in. Well, Bill went shopping. Bill likes the Shakespeare Wonder Reel. He went shopping on eBay, and he came up with 6 Shakespeare reels. So let's show you what those are. We're going to work to put these back together again. But essentially, the ones that he purchased was the 2065 Spin Wonder. And the reason I mentioned that he got them on eBay is a lot of people give eBay poor marks. And it's not eBay. eBay is just a platform. But they give the sellers poor marks because, well, they kind of enhance what they believe is the value of the reel, or, of course, the condition of the reel. And you're still able to find beautifully conditioned reels on eBay. You can ask Chris about that in the forum. He finds some new and some in-box and other types of reels. But you can find them, and you just need to be careful. You need to watch the item description, the pictures. Don't be afraid to contact the sellers and ask them questions specifically, and particularly if it's a reel that you're interested in and the price category may be a little bit more than the average seller might be selling it for on eBay. So quality is going to cost. Yeah, you're going to find a bargain every now and then, but a reel in very nice condition, good cosmetics, good paint, good performance overall, it's going to cost you. So don't be afraid to ask, as you would any salesman where you were considering buying something face-to-face. You'd ask them questions. Don't be afraid to ask the people on eBay, the sellers, questions as well. Most of those folks are very cooperative, and their only goal is to sell something, and they're most certainly going to be willing to give you additional information where additional information may be needed. So Bill sent me in 6 of these. One of them is a parts reel. According to his description, says he didn't pay anything for it, use it for parts, it's frozen. Well, you know me and challenges with the Second Chance. I want to see what's going on. My bet is it's dried grease and this thing can come back to being used. So here's a fun feature of these Spin Wonder reels. There's a dial on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey, it can still count. And an arrow. And what this is telling you is the max drag. So if you start to engage the drag, you're at 4 pounds of max drag, and you can take it all the way up. And I'm not sure exactly, I haven't read this one completely, but when you tighten it all the way down, the max drag on this reel will be 12. And you can vary it in between there. That little arrow, I'm not sure you're going to find it on all of them. Yeah, most of them. That'll tell you where you are in the sequence, so that if you know exactly what you want to fish for from a max drag standpoint, you can use that. Well, if you're liking this video so far, if you like the art of reel repair and service and information on reels and the like, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe to my channel, please use the notification button, as you'll see when I'm servicing the reels, and you'll get to choose, well, whether you want to see that video or not. These happen to be vintage Shakespeare reels, but I work on all kinds of reels, and we'll get to those now because it's probably the time to go from the good or the beautiful to, well, the not so good or the bad. And I understand from Bobby I have a box of uglies as well. So let's go to the next box here. This one comes in from Indiana. I think this is from Cole, if I remember. Che. So Shay, I guess it is. And he sent me 3 Calcuttas and a Shimano Tranx. It looks to me, we'll give him a plug, looks to me that this is the Webster Lake Guide Service, and I assume he's the Webster Lake Guide Service. Looks like fun. They've got cabins to rent and other things. And, well, let's take a look at these. We'll call these the bad or the uglies. I'm told that this stun bar is acting up and the anti-reverse is out. And I would say we probably have an issue with bearings too. So these are the Calcuttas. This is the 400B, and most of the time they're very reliable and dependable. I'm not sure whether that's a bearing or if it's the click. Nope, it's not the click. Sounds like it's a bearing. But at any rate, we'll take care of this one. As you can see, the anti-reverse is out. The anti-reverse is a traditional setup, so we shouldn't have any issue with that. Here's a second one. This is also the 400B Calcutta. And we've got a not sounding good, rough to reel. Okay, well that kind of is going to help us with that. Then we have another Calcutta. This one is a 400D, and it's something's broken inside. Check the thumb spring. Very loud grinding, and you can hear it. So these reels need to be serviced. I'm sure if he's a guide service that there's been a lot of use on these reels. When you get the mileage up there, you always need to make sure that you take time to get them serviced. It's like any good tool. If it's the tool of your trade, you're certainly going to want to make sure that those tools work and work efficiently so that you can do the best that you can. Particularly when you put these in the hands of a customer, you want to make sure that the customer has a good experience, and you don't want to have them complaining because you have issues with the equipment that you're providing them. That's a hole there. It belongs there. Why does it belong there? Well, that's an oil port. This is the thumb bar here, and you want to keep that oiled. So just use an oiler, put a little oil in there, and that should help with that free spool release mechanism. We'll get underneath that. We'll probably do a video on this one. I've done the 400Bs. I haven't done the Ds. It looks like we got something to do anyway. Well, the last one is a Tranx, and I've done one of these a while ago. It says the level wind is broken. Check the thumb bar. This is a left. This is got quite an issue here, as we can see. It says the level wind is broken. Well, usually you would pile to one side or the other. This one's got a valley, which is kind of unusual in terms of the line lay to that. And one of the things that we always note with bait casters is even if this was level, you're probably too high in terms of the amount of line that's on this reel. You should have at least 1/8 of an inch showing on the spool. You can tell this overruns the rim of the spool and actually comes up on the case. The other thing, he says the level line is broken, but I'm seeing the line guide move. I'm seeing the worm gear drive move and the level line moving. I think we might have something in here akin to braid slip or something going on. We're going to have to figure this one out, and we're certainly not going to figure it out on the video, but I will do a video on this one. Again, it should be the Tranx. Yeah, it's the Tranx. And I did one a while ago. Doesn't hurt to keep polishing my skills. So let's call those the bad because, well, they're all kind of limping in here looking for some help. And again, thanks to Shay for sending that in. I hope I got the name pronunciation right. A long, long time ago, I was a high school teacher, and, well, nothing's worse than being a high school teacher and getting your students' names all messed up and mispronounced. So there you go. All right, Bobby sends me these in. So Bobby, he's out in Tennessee, and Every now and then, I think he likes to challenge me to see what we can do from a giving reels a second chance. And he's told me I have 6 reels here that he basically classifies as parts reels. And well, we'll just see what's going on here. We'll call these the uglies because he tells me they all need some work. And first up, well, yeah, we'll call that an ugly one. This should be the 302. Yeah, this is the 302. You know, these never go out of style. They, this one's ugly. It's all working. So the planetary gear and that should be in there and functional. This one I get all the time. Maybe we'll do it because of that. This trip release, there is a stud that comes out of here that's frozen. My suspicion is that that can be repaired. Maybe we'll do a section there on how to release that stud. That stud should come out of the case when you open up your bail and should lock into that little groove there. And if it's not locking into the groove, it's not the bail spring or issue with that. It's with that stud that's not releasing. He told me they're all broken in one regard or another. There's a big old Quantum. We're missing a little washer, basically. Should just have a washer on there that should solve that issue or tighten. This is the Quantum XR 6. Nice series of reels. This one has I can figure this one out already without going too far. There's a plastic arm in here. It's almost always the case where that arm has snapped. Looks like a little beak almost. There should be a spring mechanism below and an arm and then into here. The plastic cup breaks and very difficult to find parts on that one. That's a parts reel. Here's one that, you know, I always like looking at these reels. They're not necessarily expensive reels. This one's probably a South Bend competitor. It's got an SB on it. That's the only reason I'm guessing South Bend. Right here. And it could be something else completely. It's missing a handle. Looks like it was a new reel that probably was in a retail location and one of the customers decided to just take the handle. Hate it. It's working. So, quick tip on the handles. A lot of the handles are interchangeable. You know, these are mass-produced in factories. There's not that many changes in terms of the handle itself. This is a 5-sided handle, a little bit wide. Chances are I can find another one of these 5-sided handles from scrap reels somewhere and get this one back out fishing. We have a club that helps to teach young anglers how to fish. Gives them a day on the water. We provide the tackle, and that would be a perfect place for that. So here's one that Chris is going to enjoy. This is your Daiwa 9000C. It's the biggest in the Silver Series lineup. We have an issue here with the bail. All kinds of crazy stuff going on here. That screw belongs on the handle. Looks like we're missing the bail screw and the like. And well, we're going to see if we can get this one back because this is a treasure. It's a 9000C Daiwa. I'd like to see that one go fishing again. But in its current state, well, it's a little ugly. All right. Here's what you would traditionally expect to be a parts reel. We're missing the adjuster button. This is an Abu. This is the 558 Cardinal. Seems like there's a lot of stuff here that may or may not be working. We're missing a nut cap on this side. But overall, you know what, if we find that cap, this one might be good for the kids as well. One of the things that we would just advise as a kid if we can't get the bail to work is just flip it manually. You know, a lot of times a piece will break on a reel and we give up on the reel. Well, no shame in manually flipping the bail. Actually, on some of the bigger reels today, what we find is that there's a group of reels out there, like the Spinfisher 6s and the like. When you get into the 7 or the 8,000 sizes, it only comes in a manual bail. So don't fret that you have an issue there with the bail. And this one's a Roddy. I don't know. You can tell by the inside of the fish that it's a Roddy. And this one's got all kinds of problems to it. We'll take that apart. I like to do a couple of things with these reels. I like this sense that there's a video out there waiting to be made on why fishing reels fail. This might be a good example of that. You never know if somebody's inside and didn't get it to work right, or something snapped or that. We'll call that one a parts reel as well. All right, so there you go. Good, bad, and ugly. And a very special thanks to Bill up in Massachusetts. We'll do what we can to do some videos on these. If there's any here that you would really like to see, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to try to work them into the schedule. So to our first responders, essential personnel, thank you for everything it is that you do. I'll never get tired of saying that. You may get tired of hearing it, but I won't get tired of saying it. And to everybody, well, you got some examples here of things that you should do and maybe things that you shouldn't do in terms of keeping your reels ready to go fishing. I encourage you to service yours and get out there on the water. It's time to get those lines wet and to go do what we enjoy doing most, which is the companionship of folks fishing and a day on the water. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.